Todos bienvenidos a la ILC 2020 Sudamérica. Tendremos un extenso programa que incluye oración de apertura.
Welcome to the International Leadership Conference of South America 2020. We will be sharing a commemoratory video on the war on Korea. We will have speeches from different representations of the many organizations under the Universal Peace Federation.
Las presentaciones culturales de jóvenes de América del Sur.
We will have presentations from Korea and from international youth from South America. My name is Simon Ferraboli. I'm the General Secretary of the Universal Peace Federation for South America, and I shall be your moderator for today. If you look to the bottom right corner of the options on your screen, you will find the options to choose the language of your liking. If you are listening to me, you have already chosen English. So we do also have many networks that will be sharing this live throughout South America. Thank you, Alejandro, for your cooperation. And in Rio de Janeiro as well. We want to thank all the participants, especially the panelists, and those who are accompanying us today. We thank specifically the veterans of the Korean War and their families for honoring this event with their participation. We have participants not only from South America, but also from other continents, since the link for this event has been shared throughout the globe, emphasizing the importance of feeling as one big family under God. I want to thank everyone who is joining us on this International Leadership Conference 2020 South America. The purpose of this international meeting is for the unity and to work together towards peace under the unity of the UEPF, to be able to establish a world of universal peace, everlasting universal peace, with representatives of every single organization under the UPF, based on the theme of the peaceful unification of the Korean Peninsula. On this 70th anniversary of the Korean War. We celebrate this conference after a founding of organizations in February 2020, and all the activities that have come through in these first months of the year 2020. So here in South America, we celebrate the International Leadership Conference in South America. We have also many other conferences that are being celebrated in America, Europe, Africa, uh, Northern America, the Caribbean, Southern Asia, even though they are motives of preoccupation or worry for this current pandemic, there is also a great potential for a new way to unite our lives as one global family. The UPF is a leading organization that that strives for a united Korea and a united world. And this conference is proof that we cannot be indifferent to the pain that is still felt throughout Korea and the world. The events such as this International Leadership Conference and the Rally of Hope have this purpose of bringing together the world in hope of a unified Korea. Thank you for accompanying us in this International Leadership Conference 2020 South America. So we will put out the fires of tension with true love. The veterans will be remembered and honored. Thank you, veterans, for protecting Korea with your lives. This is something that we will never forget. Korea has become the spiritual homeland of many people around the world that follow the teaching and the visions of Reverend Moon and his wife, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, also known as the Mother of Peace. Korea has paid a price to become a world leader in technology, world traditions, faith, love, and respect for others. We do not wither in our search of creating a unified South America and the unified celestial world. We will make sure that those who sacrifice their lives will not be in vain. We will accomplish justice, peace, and good. We adore peace, and that is why we are here participating in this International Leadership Conference, South America. Thank you, everyone, and welcome. Having said this, I would like to declare the official inauguration of the International Leadership Conference 2020 South America. For the opening prayer, we would like to invite Bishop Dr. Jesus Kuroff, President of the American Pontifice University of the United States. Bishop Jesus, please grace us with your prayer. Good afternoon, every one of you, beloved brothers and sisters. The children of God should be the most grateful people on this earth, for it is because of their love that our lives have a great purpose and hope. I express my greetings to the organizations behind this wonderful event, and in particular, the leaders and authorities of the International UPF, especially the leadership of Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, our true mother.
Precioso y adorado
Prayer of thanksgiving. Precious Heavenly Father, today I come to you to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the blessings that you give us every day, and because you give me a new motive to smile. Today, my soul blesses you, O beloved Heavenly Father, for my family, my brothers, my sisters, ambassadors for peace,
de los
and
padres
everything good that has come to us throughout the heavenly parents. Thank you, Mother of Peace, for your charity is so big that it pushes me forward even when everything seems like everything is lost. This renewing hope that you give us makes us understand that there is still hope. I stay with you, Heavenly Father, with the certainty that you listen to me and that my words of gratefulness reach your heart. Dearest Heavenly Father, you have been extremely patient and have accompanied me all this time, and that you have guided me from the only and true way of the divine principle. Please help me become a man of peace. The glory, the wisdom, and the possibility of being a graceful man all come from our Heavenly Father for centuries to come. Amen.
Muchas gracias, Obispo Mejía, por su emocionante oración. A seguir,
Thank you very much for this wonderful prayer. Up next, we will have a presentation of a documentary video of the Korean War.
En la flor de tu juventud pisabas esta tierra por primera vez. Y mientras tus temblorosos pasos te conducían hacia el campo de batalla, llevabas en tus retinas grabados los rostros de tus seres queridos. Soportando dolorosos días, paralizado entre la vida y la muerte, temblando de temor, dejando tu sangre y tu sudor en una tierra desconocida y viendo caer a tus compañeros de lucha, tú que defendiste a Corea tienes un nombre. Tu nombre es héroe. ...25 de junio de 1950. Las fuerzas aliadas de la ONU cruzaban los 250 kilómetros de división política del paralelo 38, sacrificando sus vidas en medio del fuego de artillería para darnos a nosotros un regalo. Después de la adopción de la resolución del Consejo de Seguridad de Naciones Unidas, bajo el mando de MacArthur como comandante de las fuerzas aliadas, los héroes más comunes pero más grandes recordados por la historia tomaron sus armas y se arrojaron sin reservas a la lluvia de fuego de artillería que caía sobre ellos. 16 países, incluidos Grecia, Sudáfrica, Países Bajos, Nueva Zelanda, Luxemburgo, Bélgica, Etiopía, Estados Unidos, Gran Bretaña, Australia, Canadá, Colombia, Turquía, Tailandia, Filipinas y Francia participaron en la guerra con el ejército coreano en su centro. Dinamarca, Alemania, Noruega, Italia, India y Suecia participaron en la guerra como países de apoyo médico para curar a la península de Corea herida por la guerra. Y otros 41 países del mundo ayudaron a la desnuda República de Corea proporcionando suministros básicos. Tras el estallido de la guerra, nadie quedó librado del fuego de la artillería. Durante 1129 días, 600.000 soldados coreanos perdieron a sus familiares. Las fuerzas aliadas perdieron a 540.000 hombres y también la sangre de 2 millones de civiles bañó sus valles y montañas. La guerra no pudo enviar de regreso a sus hogares a 150.000 soldados del mundo que protegieron a Corea y sus cuerpos renacieron sobre este suelo en la forma de flores. Para muchos el tiempo se detuvo 60 años antes, cuando llamaban a sus camaradas sin obtener respuesta.
It's very sad to see them, and yet I think it was in a good cause for the liberation of South Korea, for the prevention of the North Korean communists and the Chinese communists, and perhaps even the Russians from overwhelming the Korean peninsula and bringing disaster to the Far East.
Corea, así protegida, ha crecido gracias al sacrificio de vidas entregadas sin condiciones y se ha convertido en una Corea que brilla en el mundo gracias al coraje de los héroes que buscan proteger la libertad. En 2010, al cumplirse el 60 aniversario de la Guerra de Corea, el reverendo Moon y la doctora Han donaron, en lugar de la República de Corea, $10 millones a los veteranos que protegieron este suelo, retribuyéndoles simbólicamente el amor de esos veteranos y enviando además a sus países al ballet infantil Los Angelitos en expresión de gratitud. Los Angelitos llevaron Corea al mundo, llevando la bandera nacional en sus corazones.
The little angels took the culture of Korea around the world.
4 giras a 22 países y actuando para 5.000 personalidades importantes.
In 4 world tours and interacting with many high officials, they encountered many families and veterans of the war. And not just to them, but the rest of the world, they showed that this amazing sacrifice was not in vain.
De los héroes que
With pure
protegieron
love, the little angels
hace 60 años.
have taken all the love from the nation of Korea to thank them for their sacrifices all these years.
Las tumbas de los veteranos caídos para rememorar las vidas de esos héroes que duermen
First, they visited
en tierra.
the tombs of those soldiers who were laid to rest on Korean soils to honor their
Y ante los
sacrifice.
sepulcros transmitieron gratitud ante el noble sacrificio de los héroes que le extendieron a Corea una mano incondicional.
They gave their final thanks to these people who gave their lives for this specific Korea that we live today and enjoy today. If we can smile today, it is because they have made it possible by giving their lives. Even though many veterans who took up arms lost their friends and have spent the rest of their lives
A estos
on
ángeles
wheelchairs,
desde Corea, desde la Corea donde
they
ellos
truly felt this love from the little angels who came to share the love of the people who gave their lives for this country.
We're not smiling, but you are. And we are very, very proud to have met you. Thank you very, very much.
llenó sus corazones de alegría saber que niños y niñas como los angelitos
Their
crecen
hearts were filled with joy seeing the little angels grow in this country where they risked their lives to protect.
Pero eso contrastó con la vida de los marginados y olvidados veteranos. Aunque
This
lucharon
love was a great contrast in comparison to the lives of these people who were forgotten. Many of them have nothing to eat, they have no clothes, and some even sold their medals for simply $1. Even in these circumstances, what they fear most is to be forgotten.
y fueron
The
testigos
little angels went to look for them and are a living testimony
rescatar
of
por
their
medio de este
lives, their sacrifice, and being recognized for this amazing sacrifice.
해방 시키는 도움을 서 있었던
We will always be proud of being part of the help of the liberation of the Republic of Korea.
En los países visitados, los líderes les dieron una calurosa bienvenida a los
In the
angelitos.
countries where little angels have visited, bringing their love,
Corea aún los recuerda.
people high up in the government have received them as a gratefulness and offering them their thanks for remembering them. The Turkish army went to help Korea, and remember we fought together. In this relationship, I respect Korea deeply, with whom I have a very loving relationship. The little angels performed for them, extended their arms, thanking them for the peace and the freedom that they enjoy in Korea, thanking them and making them understand that they will never be forgotten.
UN forces fought as though they were defending their own country. Without their sacrifices, today we would have no freedom, no democracy, and no prosperity. Millions of children, like the little angels you see tonight, would never have grown up happy like they are today.
Los angelitos mostraron su hermosa
The
cultura.
little angels demonstrated their beautiful culture with dances, traditional dances from Korea,
Mejor de los regalos.
and they truly shined in front of this audience, bringing them this wonderful gift. They opened up hearts that were closed for so long with their presentations, filling them with peace and hope.
Llevaron canciones de paz a los héroes de la
They
guerra.
brought songs of peace to these warriors, and with this grateful movement, they brought in grace and gratefulness to their lives, sharing in this way philosophies of peace of Reverend and Mrs. Moon.
Thanks to every mother's son who fought for each and every one, showing that, despite the pain, their valiant efforts were not in vain.
Y en un futuro muy próximo podamos acariciar
That in a close future, we can truly enjoy that news of the unification that we as veterans are waiting for, because we who have been
a los
at war
coreanos para
always
nosotros.
say and truly feel that the Koreans for us are brothers in war and now brothers in peace. We are very, very proud of truly fighting for the Koreans' liberation.
El reverendo Moon y su esposa vienen preparando la reunificación de Corea desde
Reverend Moon and his wife have been preparing the unification of Korea for a long time in a world stage. They have met with Gorbachev to truly talk about the importance of Russia opening up, with Kim Il-sung with the idea of the borders between North and South Korea, all towards the final goal of establishing a unification of the Korean Peninsula. To create a foundation of unification, a movement centered on God has been formed. Let us confirm our values together as one family.
En medio de la competencia de las grandes potencias por la supremacía sobre la
In the
península,
middle of competitions between the great countries, these economical figures have complicated the unification of the Korean Peninsula.
es el camino de la interdependencia, la mutua prosperidad y los valores universales.
The way of interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values.
El proyecto Peace Road pavimenta el camino
Project of Peace Road is paving the way to reunification and promotes the establishment of a 50 UN secretary.
para la era de la
It's
Corea.
a genuine and concrete movement to creating a unified Korea.
Los
The
proyectos
burning hope of this era
es la reunificación pacífica de la península de Corea.
the main purpose of every project
이 민족이
established by our true mother is a reunification of the Korean Peninsula.
남북 통일을 줬습니다. 그러나
It is good that we look for unification. The way of the path that
길이 우선입니다.
that the people should prioritize is the path of one life under God. Have present that the path of humanity will exist always is the path of humanity to serve God.
나와 함께
I pray and I ask that we can build a world of peace together, the world of one family under God.
하며 축원하는 바입니다.
Este es un rally de la esperanza para la realización del mundo celestial
This
unificado.
is the World Rally of Hope for the establishment of one unified world.
Guerra inconclusa.
We cannot give up in this present, in the middle of a unconcluded war.
Hoy día los
Just like these veterans that have given their lives for Korea, these
unificados.
ambassadors for peace share these ideals of establishing a united Korea.
Esta última división ideológica deberá ser
This
derrumbada.
final ideological division must be taken down indefinitely. Korea does not forgive the grace it receives. Blessed by God, the Korean Republic
Con una nueva
will
esperanza.
receive God's blessing and return this hope to the world, to the hope of establishing a unified world, convinced that their war is not a war that shall be forgotten, but that it is a holy war. It will be remembered as a step towards the accomplishment of a truly unified world. Thank you very much, International UPF, for sharing this video, this truly important documentary about the war in Korea, especially everything that Reverend Moon and his wife, Dr. Han Moon, have strived to create the unification of the Korean Peninsula. Up next, we have the words of Reverend Dong Mashin, the president, the international vice president of the Peace Road, and president of Peace Road in South America. Reverend Shim, the microphone is all yours.
Dear and distinguished presidents, international presidents, ladies and gentlemen, peace ambassadors, I would like to express my
I'd like
profound
to express my
grateful
profound gratitude to all of
to all
you
of you for assisting this conference under the theme for the
Today we
reunification of
celebrate conference
Korea
about peace and their
and the world
Pacific
peace
reunification of Korea
under
on this 70th
under this
anniversary
event
of the Korean War.
on the 70th anniversary
The
of the
founders
Korean War.
of the UPF
As
have always mentioned
we have
that the
always
unification
stressed
of the
that
Korean
the
Peninsula
unification
is
of
a key
Korea is one of the
for
first
global
and
peace,
most important items
and
to
thus
achieve
have established
world
many
peace.
activities for peace, especially
Especially next
next
year
year
when we'll be having the 30th anniversary of
when we accomplish the 30th
uh,
year of the
North
North
Korea
Korean dictators,
and South Korea's
of
encounter.
this meeting with
I
our
just want to
true
say
parents with
thank
Kim
you
Il-sung.
to
Thank you
participate
very
in this
much for this
valuable
wonderful meeting
meeting
here in South
in
America,
South America, in the other side of the Korean
a meeting
Peninsula.
based on the other side of the world, the unification of Korea,
I believe that we
through
can help achieve
the activities
peaceful
promoted via
reunification
the
of
UPF
Korea through these kind of
of mutual
webinars and through the
prosperity,
promulgation of these
interdependence,
values from the
and the universal
UFP.
values. I believe that we have all that is necessary to truly work for the unification of the country. I am thankful for everyone who is
In
participating.
every country where the UFP is working, we have to be.
And even in this moment where we are limited in action by COVID-19, we still follow the theme of one family under God.
Nuestro padre y madre, sin importar el color de piel o la raza.
Without making a difference between the color of the skin or the race.
Especialmente en este momento,
Especially in this moment,
muchos lugares del mundo están muriendo de COVID-19.
many people around the world are dying because of COVID. Some are dying of hunger, pain, and that does not include any race in particular. I think this is a wonderful moment to put into practice our fundamental values in our different areas of activity.
En la Segunda Conferencia Mundial para la Paz de 1994, bajo el título
In the Second International Conference in '94,
La paz solo lo logrará cuando todos los hombres y
the
mujeres
peace will only be accomplished when all men and women share the truth and love of God and put it into practice. This begins with the individual and expands to the family, the society, the nation, and the world to create one global family. The fundamental values of the UPF is that God, the Creator, is the father and mother of humanity. The UPF is a sacred community where leaders from different areas look to serve God and put the truth into practice to realize a true world of peace. I hope that this meeting can help you create a new understanding about the unification of Korea and the world peace. We hope that this conference be a truly wonderful opportunity for every participant to discover a new vision and a new hope. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for your participation in the complications we are suffering in time. I'm very thank you. Thank you very much.
Reverendo Shin, cada día su español está mejor. Muy
Every
bueno.
day your Spanish is doing better.
A seguir, vamos a presentar un video de las palabras del reverendo Don.
Up next, we are going to share some words from Reverend Dong Kim, the president of the Unification, the Family Federation for Unification of World Peace of Latin America. He will speak about the significance and the importance of the War of Korea and the movement of unification of the founders, Reverend Sung Myung Moon and his wife Park Jahan Moon, have established. He will be speaking in English. So if you need translation, on the bottom right in your corner, you can choose the language of your liking.
Dear ambassadors for peace and the leaders who love the peace in South America, I am Reverend Dr. David Dong Kim, and in charge of supporting peace movement in South America based on Brazil. I appreciate your heart and hard work to bring the peace in your area. I would like to put my sincere thanks to Reverend Dong Mo Shin as UPF chairman, and Dr. Simon Peraboli, Secretary General of South America. Furthermore, I would like to offer my respect to all prominent ambassadors for peace. We have International Leadership Conference 2020 South America now, and this conference aims to celebrate the 70th anniversary of Korean War. Also, this conference is seeking to support and help the way of reunification of South and North Korea worldwide level. In this sense, I would like to share some point of Korean War and how did this war connect to South America. And why do we need to pay attention to the reunification of Korean Peninsula? Since the Second World War finished in 1945, Soviet Union started to spread out communism to the world. Before Korean War occurred, certain number of countries such as Eastern Germany, Poland, Hungary, China, and Mongolia became communist countries. On 1950, Korean Peninsula had divided as two parts, democratic government and communism government. Since the World War II ended, Soviet Union wanted to make one communism country by supporting North Korea to invade South Korea, which was a democratic country. When North Korea and the Soviet Union attacked South Korea, United States of America called the United Nations to protect South Korea from communist invasion. Finally, UN, centering on USA, decided to save South Korea and sent military troops and various aids. More than 60 countries stood with the democratic wave. You may not know how many countries in South America supported the Korean War at that time. Colombia and Suriname sent the soldiers, and 8 more countries, such as Venezuela, Argentina, Ecuador, Uruguay, Chile, Peru, Brazil, and Bolivia sent lots of aid materials. South Korea was able to survive due to the blood, sweat, and tears of UN countries. I can say South America took the significant role to keep democracy for the humanity in Korean Peninsula. If UN and South Korea failed to protect communist invasion, communism was able to reach Japan and the rest of the world easily at that time by military attacks or communist revolution in many countries. Sooner or later, communism was able to dominate the world. However, communism couldn't win in Korean Peninsula due to the unity of democratic countries. The strategy for world communism revolution centering on Soviet Union had failed and began the Cold War for next 3 decades. Finally, communism disappeared in human history. Korean War was on the crossing point of human history to go to the world of freedom or world of equality. Even though 70 years had passed after Korean War, there exists lots of conflicts which come from differences of ideology. That is why the division of Korean Peninsula still symbolizes the division of ideology and the fundamental reason of conflicts worldwide. We need to understand this point and focusing on helping the unification of Korean Peninsula in various ways. We may learn how to overcome current conflicts to create peaceful circumstances in the global world by working together for the unification of South and North Korea. Humanity will be able to find the solution to create an eternal peace which goes beyond belief and ideology. One more thing which we can think from Korean War is the appearance of Reverend Moon and his movement. He went to the North Korea from South Korea 4 years before Korean War began. Communists caught him and sent to the concentration camp as a prisoner 2 years before Korean War due to his religious activities. When Korean War occurred, he was in Hungnam, where was near Chosin Reservoir. He was rescued just before the execution in the camp and started his mission for the world peace. Ironically, the UN participation to Korean War conceived the world's strongest peace movement on the other hand. Alexander Hager Jr., the United States Secretary of State under President Ronald Reagan, was the captain of the battalion to rescue Reverend Moon. He testified his work and the Reverend Moon's activities. I came to know that I rescued Reverend Moon from Hungnam concentration camp when I was a captain during the Korean War. I am deeply moved, and it is an honor to testify the rescue of him in front of himself. We, America, rescued him 45 years ago. Now, Reverend Moon is rescuing America, which is going down with the ideological confusions and the moral corruption. I can see how God is working dramatically and marvelously. Actually, Reverend Moon had worked to fight world communism for a long time, and he was able to see the end of communism eventually. He visited Moscow and met Mikhail Gorbachev on 1990, and visited North Korea and met Kim Il-sung on 1991. He emphasized, both of them, that communism cannot make a peace and exist longer because communism denies a living God. He asked Gorbachev to send 5,000 young students to America so that Reverend Moon can educate them. And Reverend Moon put a large scale of investment in North Korea, such as automotive company and the hotel complex. He initiated headwind ideology, which goes over communism and democracy in order to create the world peace on the earth, and had led the reunification movement in Korea. Reverend Moon explained that Korean War was not a just war between two ideologies, but the holy war to create a world peace centering on God. While Korea and the world commemorate the 60th anniversary of a Korean War 10 years ago, he sent a Little Angels art performing team from Korea to 22 nations, which sent military support and medical aid during the Korean War in order to make a return for their inputs and the sacrifices. This year is the year of 70th anniversary to commemorate the Korean War. Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, as the heiress of Reverend Moon's holy mission and as a mother of cosmos, has initiated commemoration and developed many projects related Korean War worldwide. She hopes that world scholars and leaders centering on ambassadors for peace participate in this historical event. Furthermore, she wants ambassador for peace can take part in the unification of South and North Korea. I believe the same numbers of countries in South America has the same heart to help and support Korea for the reunification like 70 years ago. Let us watch what is going on in Korean Peninsula carefully from now on and work together to create peace there. Thank you very much. God bless you and your family.
Muchas gracias, Reverendo Dr.
Thank
Kim.
you very much, Reverend Dr. Kim, for your words. This truly amplifies our comprehension of the divine intervention in the Korean War, which is truly important for us to know. We now have a video of the Colombian veterans of the Korean War. Colonel Guillermo Rodriguez Guzman, president of the official veterans of the Korean War, and Pedro Hernando Vergara, the General Secretary of the Korean War Veterans in Colombia.
Bueno, como secretario general de la Asociación Colombiana de Veteranos de la Guerra,
General Secretary of
presento un saludo
the veterans of the Korean War, I would like to send my greetings with deep respect and love to our Mother Moon, who has been truly working hard for the unification of the Korean Peninsula. I still remember the day where I was on the front line in the Korean War, and we had words of a possibility of a unification of North and South Korea, and us as soldiers were eagerly waiting for that agreement.
que no es propiamente la paz.
What we did achieve was for there to be a signing of a treaty, but that was not our objective. We were truly wanting the unification since we were seeing the suffering of the Korean people. And we truly wanted them to have that peace. Ever since being part of this Veterans Association of ex-combatants in Colombia, I feel truly linked and a part of this program. And I truly wish that the conversations that Miss Moon, with the great criteria that she has, the example of her husband, Reverend Moon, can truly lead her purposes for the unification, and in the future, in the near future, we can truly grasp this news of this unification that we veterans are so hopefully waiting for, because we who have been on the front lines always say and always feel that the Koreans for us are brothers at war and now brothers in peace.
De corazón para el pueblo coreano. Mis
Before anything, my greetings to the Korean people.
en cabeza de la doctora Moon.
My congratulations to the UPF and Dr. Hak Han Moon, who have as their main purpose unification of the two Koreas. For us, we will always carry in our hearts
Corea.
and in our minds our respect to Korea.
Por su unión. Y esperamos que esto siga siendo
And we have been waiting 70 years
hasta llegar
for their unification, and we will keep waiting until this purpose is fulfilled.
algo especial. En nombre de los oficiales que
In the
estuvimos
name of the officials that were participating from Colombia, I would like to once again
abrazo muy especial al cumplir
give a truly great hug
bebés
after these 70 years
que esa amistad
of separation, and we hope that
continuando perennemente
this loving relationship can truly cultivate and firmly be maintained between Korea and Colombia.
adelante. Quiero verlos y espero sí que sea así.
To all the inhabitants of Korea, I want to see you growing
Importantes dentro del ámbito
more, to be growing and becoming more important in the world stage. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias a los veteranos
Thank you very much for the veterans of the War of Korea,
por estar con nosotros,
especially
sus familiares
for
el día de hoy.
being with us and your families on this day.
Representante del Consejo
We will now go to the
de
representatives.
América del Sur. Ella es ecuatoriana, la primera mujer
She is from Ecuador. She is the first woman to be a constitutional president and is vice president of Ecuador, Minister of Culture and Education, Her Excellency Dr. Artiaga Serrano, Vice President of Ecuador. The microphone is all yours, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. A pleasure being here with you today, this day, and this commemoration. I've been profoundly moved with those videos that indicates that we have to be grateful and to acknowledge all the people that fought for peace. I've titled the reflections that today I'm going to express as cultivating peace. There is an undeniable necessity that is felt on every corner of the planet, that is to work for the peace on the world. The deepness of the importance of these peace spaces, even when there are conflicts. In this sense, I propose the need to cultivate peace, to work incessantly, so about all having as a tool education to achieve, inculcate in kids' minds and youngs a culture of non-violence. We know that in every aspect, those from nature care to health issues to proper nutrition to even the theme that we are discussing today. Peace World happens on the school. That is to say that the formational process that we usually start in the house and continue with the teachers and in the classroom, be it virtual or presence. So today, on this celebration, on this conference organized by the UFP, we ratificate and we confirm our conviction of working from the education if we want to achieve a last, lasting peace. This is a proper space to realize. Sorry, this is the proper space to make these reflections for to the aspire of a lasting peace that can be installed in all the Korean peninsula so that conflict fears will be over. And so, for that, the fear of nuclear wars should be ended. The feeling that we live in a violent world is not only for the conflict between countries and civilizations, but also for the increasing conflicts between homes, cities, and families. And we are deeply concerned. And for that, from this forum, we want, from this event, we want to make a calling for peace, for the disarm of words, and to end conflicted attitudes. We are talking about disarming words because we know that every conflict begins from the word, from the bad use of words and bad interpretations and misunderstandings, and to the and from that to discussions and fights. And so that I leave you and I thank you for this space.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your words, for your presence, and for making such an important appearance in our event. We also have the representative of the International Federation of Parliamentaries of Colombia. We would like to present a video of his words since he could not be present with us at this time. But he is present, yes.
Tenía la noticia, disculpa, señor
I
presidente.
apologize. I had the news that you were not able to make it. Thank you very much for being present. No worries. We did have a video prepared for this possibility, but I was able to shift my schedule because I really think it was important to be present in this event. This is a event with universal characteristics, a world event that truly deserves the physical presence, especially now that I can be here as a representative of the Colombian Chamber of Representatives. So this week we have participated in a beautiful event that you have held, always representing the peace as a main goal. So we have lived in firsthand the conflict of the Korean Wars. So there are 3 or 4 themes I would like to speak about today. First of all is to say that Colombia was the only country of the American continent that was physically present in the Korean Peninsula in the war with a small battalion, yet it was a battalion that has received a lot of honor and grace from the Korean people. And I have visited the place where in Korea where you truly give grace to our soldiers and our sacrifice. In second place, I would like to remark that we are in the 70th year, 70th anniversary of this Korean War, and that the reunification of Korea is truly gaining importance, and you can see in these videos and everything that's been truly going on. All the horror and all those truly horrible things that have happened are things that cannot be left forgotten, and it is important to remember. Third, it's important to truly understand the great work that the UPF has been leading, along with Dr. Hak Jahan Moon. And I had the opportunity to visit you in some of your events in South Korea and see firsthand all the truly amazing work from every multidisciplinary event that you are truly holding to generate a world of peace and resolving the conflict between the Koreas through their unification. So throughout the years, we can see a lot of work from the UPF looking for peace treaties and peace talks, the activities of the media, the geopolitical vision that you establish as human beings, everywhere where these kind of conflicts are done. The possibility of talking about the nuclear conflicts, it's truly important. And this is where the UPF truly stands out, and all the organizations that come from it, and how they have truly extended their arms and their voices so that we can truly observe that in this very short time, so much work has been done, and that in a short time following, the unification of Korea will come to be. The relationships within other countries like the United States, the peace that we want as a society, and the support of the United States looking for this peace. This only goal that we are trying to accomplish. As a representative, I would really like to make everyone understand that there is a moment where the language can be a way of unification, but also the cultural references and the cultural values, all these Korean traditions that should not be divided by a border. I believe the unification of Korea should truly be a responsibility of everyone, and Colombia is no exception. I believe that if we all pitch in to truly help out, we can truly understand, bringing a vision from Latin America about a peace in the world, we can truly understand and bring to this peninsula that is awaiting to be unified, to create a economical and social cooperation, to create progress, and obviously world peace. Thank you very much for inviting me to this event, and I am always happy to support my point of view as the representative, and Everybody, each and every one of us should do what we can from our positions around the world. Thank you very much, Representative from Colombia. Thank you for such important words.
Mejor con su presencia personal. Gracias, muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Con las palabras de la representante de la Asociación Internacional de Parlamentarios para la Paz de Brasil.
We continue with our representative from Brazil, ex-member of Congress, Secretary of the Women's Department. We will receive Honorable Grace Elias. I think that she does have a video for us because she wasn't able to be physically present.
Quero inicialmente agradecer a Deus pela minha vida e a UPF pela oportunidade do convite. Sou Grace Elias, deputada federal, membro da Câmara dos Deputados e neste ato represento o Poder Legislativo, um dos poderes que compõe a República Federativa do Brasil. Participo desta conferência sob o tema Pela reunificação pacífica da Coreia e pela paz mundial, por meio da interdependência, prosperidade mútua e valores universais, no 70º aniversário da Guerra da Coreia, realizado pela Federação para a Paz Universal para uma satisfação inefável. Quando na metade do século XX, o sangue dos heróis combatentes foi derramado em terras coreanas, eu ainda não era nascida. No entanto, aprendi que foi uma semente fertilizada por sonhos, lutas, trabalhos, acrescidos de fé e de muita ação comunitária. Empreendedora, numa busca frenética pela paz, e não apenas entre as Coreias, mas pela paz mundial. O mundo suspira por paz. Homens e mulheres, crianças, irmanados por uma crença em Deus, o Ser Supremo Eterno em sua soberania, aquece o coração de todos os habitantes deste planeta Terra. A natureza clama por atenção dos líderes políticos para ações efetivas, suficientemente capazes de resolver problemas como o desmatamento, queimadas, a falta de água, a fome, o saneamento básico e saúde de qualidade para todos. Orgulho de termos no Brasil, um presidente da República que está atento a todas essas questões de ordem sociopolítica, de quem sou vice-líder na Câmara dos Deputados. Vivemos um momento atípico no mundo, com incertezas, medos, perdas de vidas humanas em todos os continentes afetados pela pandemia do novo coronavírus. Oremos para que a paz celeste envolva o mundo. Deus está falando à nossa humanidade. É preciso ouvir a manifestação da sua presença e da sua voz, dando valor aos detalhes que proporcionam quietude à alma no interior do ser humano. Essa conferência internacional de liderança traz a oportunidade de uma ressignificação de valores espirituais, morais, sociais, que nos permitem ser melhores e contribuir para um mundo de paz. Nós podemos ser melhores e nós devemos agir para que isso aconteça. Parabenizo e cumprimento a Mãe da Paz, doutora Rashna Hanuman, por representar a paz mundial nesse trabalho tão significativo para a humanidade, especialmente para as mulheres de todos os continentes. A paz mundial, a nossa prece e agradecimento de um mundo com pessoas melhores, dispostas a mudar a partir de si a nossa realidade. Meus sinceros agradecimentos por participar deste grandioso evento. Muito obrigada. Que Deus abençoe a cada um de vocês.
Muchas gracias, diputada y embajadora de paz de la UPF.
Thank you very much, Ambassador for Peace in Brazil. Your words are very important for today's events. Up next, we have a very special testimony from Antonio Bentancur. He is from Colombia. So he was, up until a while ago, the National Director of Peace Affairs in the UPF in the United States. Member of the Executive Committee of ICTEC International. And many other titles of the United States.
Dr. Betancourt dará su testimonio de la reunión del Reverendo Moon con el presidente
So Dr. Betancourt will give his testimony of the reunion of Reverend Moon and Reverend Kim Il-sung in North Korea.
Buenas tardes. Les mando un saludo.
Good afternoon. Warm greetings from Colombia, where I have been here for 10 months. I came here for a month. Due to the pandemic, I have been here for 10 months, and I will be staying here until things cool down in the United States. Something I will talk about today is a sort of impossible task that Father Moon asked of my mentor and me, my mentor Bohi Pak and I. That was the success of the movement is in Moscow. Something after 70 years of communism, Father Moon declared that the countries who have these regiments, have these communist beliefs, they wouldn't reach more than 70 years. And after 70 years, the changes will begin. So in anticipation to that, Father Moon asks that we organize a movement in Moscow. So my responsibility was to take 40 leaders in the world to discuss the goals for the world, not just for the Soviet Union, but goals for the whole world, and what that meant for the whole world. After this truly successful meeting in the Kremlin, where Reverend Moon was talking about the world changes, in which he offered to help the Soviet Union, especially in their education of a new generation that should live in democracy, a democracy based on universal values. So by the end of the conference, Father Moon asked that I, as General Secretary for this meeting, to write a letter to President Kim Il-sung announcing that the Unification Church will bring an end to the war, to this psychological war. So Father Moon, with this unification movement, was the most formidable movement against international communism. So this was the most critical and most effective countermeasure to international communism, not just socially and economically, but due to the lack of the sharing of universal values that were shared throughout the many religions that God has presented through many religions. All those shared universal values, Father called it the culture of heart. So I began to write this letter, and as Father told me, it's that I traveled around the world and I represented him in front of many leaders around the world. I was constantly traveling and trying to organize plans within the providence that Father and Mother Moon were leading. So he asked that in every country where a North Korean embassy existed, he told me to go there and tell them that there should be no more tension within the unification movement and North Korea, that it is the moment to begin the process of reconciliation.
En el momento en que yo
I
dije
was I was not very successful, and I was thrown out of many of these North Korean embassies.
de secretario general de AULA, la Asociación por Unidad Latinoamericana, y del Consejo para la Paz Mundial, el Summit Council for World Peace, que precede el Consejo Cumbre que tienen ahora, que es más avanzado. Entonces, me sacaron.
So I presented myself as part of the Unification Church, and they were escort me outside of these buildings. So I talked to the chairman, to the leader of international democracy, who was a friend of Castro. He was my boss at the moment, and I said that Reverend Boone has asked this of me at this moment, and how are we supposed to take these democratic ideals to those people who are under Kim Il Sung to be able to reach Kim Il Sung in North Korea? So what happened is that Dr. Carasso was invited to North Korea years ago to talk about peace in Kim Il Sung University. He was there for 2 months. Once he left North America, not like many others, when he came out, knowing all the defects about this regiment, as a Democrat, a democratic person, he really did not support this form of government, but he did form a really good relationship with these people. And he said that he could get a visa for me through his contacts in Cuba. So Father talks about head wing ideology, in which the main head is focused on these universal values and guides everything based on these universal values. So this person talked with Fidel Castro, leader of Cuba in the moment, and Castro asked, what is this trip for? So they expressed that this is for the beginning of a dialogue between this movement that was against communism with this communist leader. So Castro immediately liked the idea and talked right away with his relationships in North Korea. And Fidel Castro, this communist leader, was the one who was able to open our doors to enter North Korea.
Representada por Cuba, nos ayudó a llevar al padre y a la madre.
So Cuba, who were a socialist country, were the ones who were able to help us bring a true father to North Korea and start these dialogues. So when I got there, they had a lot of questions. They made a lot of questions about me, and as a Colombian, I received a lot of criticism, a lot of hate, since we helped out South Korea at that moment. So the North Koreans were very hostile to me. So in the end, once they they finished being so hostile and truly testing me, they understood that this was truly important for the future of the Democratic Republic of North Korea and the peninsula as a whole.
Los nuevos deseos de la iglesia.
So I explained, to them about the politics and about the wishes of truly reconstructing one Korea.
Al adversario de demonios.
So Father talked about this thing that goes on in the politic world where one never recognizes his adversary. So you must give them the respect and the dignity that you think they don't deserve. So those words from Father Moon were something that I truly kept in mind, and I let them talk and express themselves and truly insult me and have that hostile attitude to me. And once they got over it and they finished, then I opened my mouth.
Primera vez se consultó con ellos, porque hubo en esa época muchas conferencias, pero
so this is one of the first times that there was a truly contact between North Korea, even though there were many times before, many tries. I was the first representative of the Unification Church to be able to have contact with North Korea.
Entonces, como resultado, se hizo la conferencia en Washington con el almirante como chairman de la conferencia fue el almirante Crowe, que más tarde fue embajador de Estados Unidos delante de la corte de St. James. O sea,
so someone else who was able to this was Admiral Crowe from the U.S. He was a counselor of President Clinton. And this was the beginning of many political factors.
Como es la situación del comunismo internacional, lo que queda del comunismo internacional. Entonces, el padre Moon pagó por la conferencia, se hizo un éxito y se llevó.
So Father Moon had established this conference. It was a truly in which we established these ideas for unification. They were taken to North Korea and they were received in a very positive way. And in that radical regiment that is North Korea was able to receive our two parents, and there has been a big change in the way that they receive the idea of a Pacific reunification and wonderful friends. So it is important to see that your enemy as a friend and truly transform them to your side, to be able to understand, to establish a truly good relationship for the reunification of Korea. And it's important to understand that the world will not be a capitalist world or a communist world. It will be a world centered on interdependence. People will not be dependent or totally independent. It's interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values that will guide the future world. up until today that goodwill has been truly sustained, and our true mother's goodwill, which she named herself the mother of humanity, because she does have this plan, she has this process and this idea of truly creating a unified world. For me, it was a great honor to participate in this process for more than 40 years under the guidance and the heart of Father Moon and my mentor, Gohi Pak. I would like also to congratulate Reverend Dong Mongxing and Simon Faraboli for giving me this opportunity of sharing this testimony and understanding that this radical enemy that we see as enemies is it's not, we don't have to see them as enemies, and we have to understand that we can come into a truly mutually beneficial agreement. And with this, I would like to thank you and give my greetings from Colombia.
El Congreso de Colombia, la Cámara de Representantes a la UPF. Muchas gracias.
And I would like to also give my congratulations to the UPF. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Antonio Bentancur. We learn a lot with your experience.
Muchas gracias. Ahora vamos a ver un video de performance.
We will now see a video of a performance video of the youth from Argentina, from Latin America, sorry.
rico, qué emocionante. Muchas gracias a los jóvenes de
Thank you very
ISP.
much for to the young of YSP America, Latin America. We are going to hear the words of the representative of the YSP. He is a Brazilian license in social communication
Obtuve su maestría
with the University Anhembi Morumbi in São Paulo.
de
He has a master in religious education with the University of Postgrad University in Sungham in Korea. He is a regional president of YSP Latin America. We're going to receive Samuel Otalinares, YSP president.
Damas y caballeros, hermanos y hermanas, gostaria de saudar a todos. Eu sou de Brasil, mas em respeito a todos os panelistas que temos de toda a América Latina, eu tentarei falar em espanhol. Então, eu peço a paciência para que possam entender isso. Em primeiro lugar, eu gostaria de felicitar a UPF, através de seus líderes regionais, reverendo Dom Monchim e Dr. Simão Ferraboli, por esta iniciativa para construir um mundo de paz. Como todos vocês sabem, este é um evento para honrar e agradecer a los veteranos da Guerra de Coreia em este ano que marca o 70º aniversário da guerra. E como os fundadores de YSP e todo o nosso trabalho ter começado em Coreia, estamos muito agradecidos a todos os soldados e suas famílias que dedicaram
We are
suas
very grateful for all the soldiers of Latin America that dedicated their lives to protect South Korea. We have heard many words, and from all of these words, I think we have understood why these words occurred and why we are hosting this event on the 70th anniversary. And
Falarei novamente pouco mais sobre esse tema.
because
Quando tuvo
so
lugar
we
a
are
Guerra de
talking
Coreia,
about the youth of those young soldiers that went to the Korean War. And as we know, the UN agreed to send military help to Korea. So, in between, among one of the countries that sent people to Korea was Ethiopia. And it's a country that has been through many difficulties in Africa. And the emperor was he emphasized on sending troops to Korea because when their country was ignored when they asked for help for when they were being invaded. And knowing that North Korean soldiers were invading South Korea, the emperor decided to send military help to Korea to help and support the Korean democracy. Thanks to many soldiers and young people, young soldiers that went to this war, and I believe there were 34,000 young soldiers that lost their lives in this war. And we can see after this suffering, Korea is taking many steps in the construction of this democracy and a peace world. All these developments would have never appeared if it weren't for the sacrifice and the unity of so many countries for the world peace. And so YSP, along with the UFP, has created a site, rememberkwar.org, to remember the deceased soldiers and soldiers that went to the Korean War. And in this site, we can find many testimonies, and we can find more about the history of Korean War. And we can find memorials that have been set in many parts of the world. Um, and you can also find a place to leave a message, a thankful message, and support for the war veterans. We are preparing for the Hope Facebook Lives and on Instagram, talking about these topics in relation to the origin of the Korean War and the consequences and the legacy that this war.
A ocurrir. Trabajamos para construir un mundo sostenible de paz y felicidad. Pero aunque ahora no sea
sustainable peace and happiness, and but this construction should be with education and peace, not with arms.
Estamos profundamente
For the
agradecidos
future generations, we are profoundly grateful for the veterans and that open doors to building this peace world. And we hope that we can build families, societies, and nations, ideal societies. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, Samuel.
Thank you very much, Samuel, and the young. The youth always brings us peace because you are substituting us and building a future. Now we continue with the words of the representative of the
Raúl Rocha Ayala,
Association of Development for Peace,
de Gremiales de Bolivia,
Raúl Rocha Ayala, General Secretary of the Confederation of Syndicates in Bolivia.
Raúl Rocha Ayala, tienes la palabra, por favor.
So we give the word to Raúl Rocha Ayala. First of all, thank you. Good afternoon. I want to first thank for this invitation to the Reverend King, sorry. To you, Simon, and to all of the staff that is in charge of this organization, which is taking steps toward peace. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to express some words. And with this great meeting of international leaders in 2020, at the same time, I want to share a reflection in relation to what occurred in Korea. The best commemorates the best festive and honor that we can give to the young and the veteran words, respecting mental values, respecting these big teachings that Dr. Moon is giving us. The peaceful reunification of Korea and world peace through the interdependence, mutual prosperity. On this anniversary, even though we have been through many difficult times on this year, not only with the pandemics, but also due to geopolitical conflicts and worldwide economy and education, media, religion, and culture, and every aspect of society, including family, community, cities, and nations. And while there are many motives to be concerned on this crisis, there also exists a lot of potential so that new ways of communication can appear, and we can finally accelerate the process of unity of the humanity. On 1950, this bad war occurred for this human being, and it cannot only should we should reflect on this war, not only remember it but reflect on it, uh, because we have received a world without guidance, in a world where education only serves to building arms to destroy the human being. This is why I believe that this is the time to reflect, because these teachings that Dr. Moon is trying to establish are the ones that are helping to build this, to achieve this goal of peace world. So this is a time to reflect that in some point, us as leaders, we have declared the war on peace, because we have been chasing this goal since for a long time now. I believe that since God gave us a system, since God gave us the earth, a place that we can live in on peace, but due to the fall and to the sin, we are now living these times of crisis, and that is why I call to reflect. And I believe that this event it's really good to reflect on this, to transmit all these experiences to the young, for them to learn from us, from the leaders, teachings of peace. It's not new that, for example, in Latin America, this old ideology of where you can't think this current of thought, where change and progress is now it's a great danger that is present in itself, and it's really big, and it's really important that we should try to stop.
Haciendo lo que la madre hemos hecho, incansablemente. Es más, hasta niños.
Insensibly, even kids participated in this international event, Little Angels, that in different opportunities we have seen expressing this disposition that and this desire to have a peaceful world, and in a world that we can live together, because war is the extreme of ignorance, the extreme of uncommunication, and I believe that we have to take this into consideration, and it's the time to uh, build something that is peaceful. And so this is why it's important, the reunification, and we are hopeful that Korea reunites again, and we ask God that this happens, and with that, that we can achieve peace, worldwide peace. And in relation to around that, then we can talk about a good economy, or else any other work is just in vain. So I will leave you with this, and thank you very much. And we are at your disposition. Truly, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Raúl Ayala, for your words and for your participation from Bolivia, representing this beautiful country, our brothers. And to conclude our event with a gold brochure, we're going to listen to the words of the representative the Association for Media of Media for Peace in Peru. He is a license on journalism. He was acknowledged for his labor in journalism, which was delivered by the Congress, Dr. Antero Flores Arauz. We welcome Angel Sanchez, and you have the word, please. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. All the
It is an honor to be invited to share some words, and let me extend my greetings from Peru, where our original don't be a thief, don't be a liar, and don't be a cheat. These are words from my early days, from our natives. These are values which our country are based upon. So I'm grateful to participate in this spiritual meeting dedicated to the reunification of the Peninsula of Korea and world peace, which will only be accomplished through the pacific and harmonious cooperation that can permit the existence of a truly equal society under the teachings of our one God. Without these, we cannot receive a truly unified world. We will never understand the unification of Korea through the dominance of one over the other, or the integrity and fusion of these two ideologies, but under the idea of these universal values: truth, friendship, honor, happiness, peace. All of these must be the basis of this unified world. I am convinced that the Pacific unification of Korea should be created by these basic principles that should be taken into account in these ways. First of all, a reconciliation process. Two, a interdependent relationship with a shared economy. Three, a shared education, mutual prosperity, industrial infrastructure, and life quality. And four, teachings from our Creator that can truly generate equality for all of us. These relationships between North and South that should permit that elements of truth be truly shared within another to create a unified political vision as one of the foundations and fundamental rights of people. And they, from a political standpoint, should be the ones to truly lead both North and South to a unification. They both have fundamental rules that must work together to establish one Korea. Not only thinking of our individual existence, but a mutual existence that can permit their integrity as a whole. And in understanding this, we must truly give importance to these Korean themes, taking into account July 4th, 1962, in which these three things that are needed for unification have been established to truly create unity with specific means, overcoming complications and differences. So cooperation and understanding are truly necessary for reaching peace. It's important that we denuclearize the North Korean peninsula to reach an understanding and a unification. These are also treaties that have been talked about in the past and that we should keep on working on bilateral relationships. This truly shows the will of the politics and the mutual goals that they share, as they share one goal to truly achieve the Pacific unification of Korea.
Sin embargo, constituyen pasos firmes para restablecer y afianzar relaciones de mutuo.
So it is important that we take these concrete steps forward to generate this unity. As I mentioned in the beginning, this universal peace can only be fulfilled when we take into account the importance and the necessity of generating these universal values of comprehension, equality, respect, and peace. These are truly important factors for a pacific life. Depending on each and every one of us and our roles in society, to unite our efforts it's not enough to simply speak, but it's important to demonstrate through actions, and that the dream of world peace should not simply be a dream, but a reality. To reach the unification of Korea, we must truly enact with universal values, generating norms and a way of life that can have truly bring respect, love, and peace. A society that does not fight to reduce crime, corruption, and other problems can never truly substantialize a true society of peace. Let us be gone with anarchy and corruption that bring violence and suffering. Let us truly understand our Creator's values by respecting each other and creating a true society in justice and peace. We must We must truly fulfill our role as part of society to create unity through cooperation, to create unity through respect, to create life through peace. There will never be an everlasting peace if we cannot achieve the denuclearization of the Northern Peninsula and the rest of the world. As long as nuclear weapons exist, the peace and the existence of humanity will always be under threat. Let us truly assure the peace through our action from our point in society, our roles in society. Let us promote interreligious and international dialogue based on peace, led by people from different religions throughout the world, centered on our parents. Let's guide the media around the world to truly focus on these movements that are trying to help the world and better our morals. Let us keep striving for interdependence and to fix the social economic problems around the world and bring equilibrium. Let us do this through the universal values that different academies have declared around the world. Let us truly strive forward together for the unification of the Korean
Thank you very
Peninsula.
much, License
Thank you very much
Sanchez, for
for your ideas and your suggestions. It is very
It's really
important
important, your
that
talk
you can share
and
all these things with us.
our
And
special conference of leadership
in our
for
conference,
Latin America
2020 South America.
2020.
I would
I
like
want to
to
congratulate all
the
the
panelists.
speakers, to the Reverend Shin and Reverend Kim, Manuel Mejia, German Blanco Alvarez, to Dr. Ventacourt, and to the art performance and of the YSP, to Samuel Linares and License Angel Sanchez. And also we want to thank to the veterans of the Korean War. I want to ask a warm round of applause of all of you and for all of those who have been here with us and who have accompanied us in these hours of this program of the Conference of International Leadership of 2020 in Latin America. I want to thank all the participation from all the countries that have been here with us, from all Latin America. And also I want to thank the participants of other parts of the world that have been here with us. Remembering that peace starts with me, I want to end our event of International Leadership 2020 Latin America Conference. Thank you. God bless us all. Thank you very much, and to the next event.
Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigado, muchas gracias, thank you todos panelistas y participantes.
Muchas gracias. Foi um evento muito lindo, muito enriquecedor. Muchas gracias a todos.